In 1950, a man could support an entire family on a single income. Buy a house, own a car, send his kids to college, retire comfortably. All on one salary. In 2026, two adults working full-time often struggle to afford that same life. Something changed. Not slowly, not subtly. Something fundamental shifted in the relationship between work and wealth. And almost nobody talks about what it actually was. Today we are going to talk about the paycheck trap. The system that was designed, not by conspiracy, but by economics, incentives, and human psychology, to keep you dependent on your salary. Forever. Because here is the truth that most financial advice quietly skips over. A salary is not a path to wealth. A salary is a tool for survival. And the moment you confuse one for the other, the moment you start believing that working harder and earning more will eventually set you free, you have stepped into the trap. This video is about understanding exactly how that trap works, why it was built, why it's so hard to see, and what the people who escape it do differently. Because by the end of this video, you will understand why your salary may be the single biggest obstacle standing between you and financial freedom, and what to do about it. Let's start with the most uncomfortable number in personal finance, the percentage of your salary that you actually keep. For someone earning $75,000 a year in the United States, after federal income tax, state income tax, Social Security, and Medicare, they take home approximately $55,000. That's a tax burden of roughly 27%, before they pay rent. Before they fill the gas tank. 27% gone. Now here is the number that most people never learn until it's too late. A wealthy investor who earns $75,000, not from a salary, but from investments, pays approximately 15% in capital gains tax. Same amount of money, half the tax rate. The tax code was not written to punish wealthy people. It was written to reward people who make money from assets rather than from labor. The system is not broken. It works exactly as designed. It just wasn't designed with your salary in mind. But taxes are only part of the trap. The second mechanism is one we've touched on before, but in the context of salary, it becomes something far more destructive. Lifestyle inflation. When you get a raise, what happens to your spending? For most people, it goes up. Not dramatically, not recklessly. Just proportionally. A slightly nicer apartment, a slightly newer car, slightly better restaurants, a slightly more expensive vacation. Each upgrade feels earned, each one feels reasonable. But here is what is actually happening. The gap between your income and your spending, the gap where wealth is created, stays exactly the same, or gets smaller. You earn more, you spend more, you save the same. And the month feels just as tight as it did before the raise. Every single time. And then there is the third mechanism, the most invisible one of all. Your salary is trading time for money. And time, unlike money, cannot be recovered. When you trade an hour of your life for $1, that hour is gone. You cannot invest it. You cannot compound it. You cannot get it back. And so as long as your income depends entirely on your time, your ability to create wealth is physically limited by the number of hours you can work, which is finite. Which means your income is finite. Which means your wealth is finite, unless something changes. Let me show you 3 people. All of them started in the same place. College educated, entry-level salary, similar expenses. 20 years later, their financial lives look completely different. Michael got promoted every 2 to 3 years. By his mid-40s, he was earning $140,000 a year. By any external measure, Michael was successful. Nice house in a good neighborhood, 2 cars, annual vacations, kids in private school. But Michael had no investments, no passive income, no assets generating money while he slept. Because every raise he received was consumed by the lifestyle it funded. At 48, Michael's company downsized, and he was let go, with 6 months of severance, and no financial cushion beyond that. For the first time in his adult life, Michael understood that his $140,000 salary had never made him wealthy. It had made him dependent. Sarah earned $68,000 a year, less than half of Michael's peak salary. But Sarah made a decision at 26 that Michael never made. She decided that 20% of every paycheck would be invested in assets before she spent anything else. Not 20% of what was left, 20% of the total, first, automatically. She drove a used car for 10 years. She lived in a modest apartment. She took one vacation a year, domestically. Not because she was miserable, because she understood something Michael didn't. By 45, Sarah's investment portfolio generated approximately $28,000 a year in passive income. But enough to change everything. Because now, even if she lost her job tomorrow, she had runway. She had options. She had time. She had what Michael didn't: freedom. James earned $52,000 a year as a graphic designer, the lowest earner of the three. But at 29, James started taking freelance projects on evenings and weekends, not to get rich overnight, just to build a second stream. By 35, his freelance income matched his salary. By 38, it exceeded it. By 42, James quit his job, not because he hated it, because his income no longer depended on it. James didn't escape the paycheck trap by earning more. He escaped it by making his income independent of his time. There are 4 paths out of the paycheck trap. They are not secrets. They are not get-rich-quick schemes. They are the 4 things that people who achieve financial independence almost always do, in some combination, over time. Path 1. Build assets that generate income. This is what Sarah did. The goal is not to save money. The goal is to acquire assets, stocks, index funds, real estate, businesses, that generate income whether you work or not. Every dollar invested in an income-generating asset is a dollar that starts working for you, instead of waiting for you to work for it. The target, for anyone serious about escaping the paycheck trap, is to build passive income that covers your basic expenses, not your current lifestyle, your basic survival expenses. The moment your passive income covers your rent, food, utilities, and transportation, your salary becomes optional. Not immediately, but eventually. And that shift from necessary to optional is the foundation of real financial freedom. Path 2. Create a second income stream. This is what James did. A second income stream doesn't have to be a side business. It can be freelancing, consulting, teaching a skill, renting a room, creating content, writing. The goal is simple. Create income that is not tied to your primary employer. Because as long as 100% of your income comes from one source, you are one decision away from having nothing. The most financially resilient people in the world don't have one income stream. They have 3, 4, 5. Not all large, not all active, but multiple. So that no single employer, no single client, no single decision can eliminate their income overnight. Path 3. Optimize your tax strategy. Remember the investor who paid 15% while the salary earner paid 27%? The difference wasn't luck. It was structure. The wealthy don't pay less tax because they cheat. They pay less tax because they understand which types of income are taxed differently, and they structure their finances accordingly. This doesn't require a team of lawyers. It starts with basics. Maxing out your 401k reduces your taxable income today. A Roth IRA grows tax-free for retirement. Health savings accounts are triple tax advantaged. Capital gains are taxed at lower rates than ordinary income. These are not loopholes. They are features of the tax code that are available to everyone and used consistently by the people who keep the most of what they earn. Path 4. Protect the gap. This is the one that requires the most discipline, and the one that most people fail at, no matter how much they earn. The gap between your income and your spending is where wealth is created. Not the size of your income, the size of your gap. Michael had a $140,000 income with a zero gap. Sarah had a $68,000 income with a 20% gap. Sarah won, not because she earned more, because she protected the space between what came in and what went out. Protecting the gap doesn't mean deprivation. It means every spending decision is made deliberately, not by default. It means your lifestyle grows only when your assets grow first. It means the raise gets invested before it gets spent. Because the moment the raise gets spent, the gap stays the same, and the trap resets. Here is the decision for today. Not a complicated one. Not one that requires you to quit your job tomorrow or start a business this weekend. Just this. Look at your income. How many sources does it come from? If the answer is one, you are one decision, one downsizing, one health crisis away from financial emergency. What is one skill you have that someone would pay for outside of your current employer? Not a full business, not a side hustle empire. One skill, one potential client, one extra stream. Now look at your gap. Take your monthly take-home pay, subtract your monthly spending. Whatever is left, what percentage of your income is that? If it's less than 15%, your salary is consuming you faster than it's building you. And finally, before your next paycheck arrives, set up one automatic investment. Any amount, any account. Just make sure it moves before you have a chance to spend it. Because the paycheck trap only works when your money goes to everything else first, and investing gets whatever is left. Reverse that order, and the trap loses its power. In 1950, one income built a life. In 2026, two incomes often barely hold one together. Something changed, but it wasn't just inflation, it wasn't just taxes, it wasn't just the cost of housing. What changed was the belief that more salary would eventually be enough, that the raise was coming, that the promotion would fix it, that working harder was the answer. And while people waited for salary to save them, the gap stayed the same. The lifestyle grew with the income. The assets never arrived. Michael earned $140,000 and had nothing when it stopped. Sarah earned $68,000 and had options no salary could take away. James earned $52,000 and built income that outlasted his employer. The paycheck trap is real. It is powerful, and it is designed by economics and human nature to keep you inside it. But it has one weakness. It only works if you believe that your salary is the solution. The moment you understand that your salary is the starting point, not the destination, everything changes. This has been Wealth Decoded, the money secrets they never taught you. If this video changed how you see your paycheck, subscribe to the Wealth Files. Because financial freedom doesn't come from earning more. It comes from building something that earns for you, even when you stop.